to Zeralath doing his thing. So while I'm on my way to work today, I've got one. I've got one for you. I wanted to clear out in my head. So I titled it Rational Theorist. As opposed to a conspiracy theorist, right? Here, a rational theorist. Hey, I am sorry about that. I forgot to switch over to the network. My bad. All right, there we go. So anyway, the rational theorist is using reason to explain what's going on in absence of actually knowing anything, right? So like, you get a lot of apologists out of this disposition. They're the ones, like the ones that have been overtly protect. Like, it's one thing to speculate how the Epstein files are a fraud, for instance, right? Right now, we have no idea precisely what makes the Epstein files a fraud, other than we are accustomed to everybody lying to us and not knowing what the standards of authenticity are anymore. Right? So, therefore, we rationalize what we think went wrong, right? Like, the manner in which the Epstein files is being handled is a manner in which rationalizes that Ghislaine Maxwell's, position outside of Jeffrey Epstein's fucking co-conspirator don't mean anything, which means protecting the Mossad and British assets. And that's the problem with the Epstein files as they stand, is that nobody is talking about how much we need to know about the infrastructure by which Jeffrey Epstein did this precisely. Right now we have in our minds people, I don't even know where they were assuming in the world that collapsed in 2020 that, that all these women were being procured from. Notice how they use the word pedophile consistently. It is not exactly accurate. They're hebephiles. 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 A heba is like a high school girl or a middle school girl, right? These are women that are awfully young of semi-agency. It's basically what they invented barely legal porn for. Barely legal porn is there as a honeypot for hebephiles. They theoretically want a full-grown, immediately into maturity woman, but they can't because it's against the law, and that's the extent of their morality, is their desire plus law, right? Or minus law, or whatever you want to call that psychological spiritual equation. So we got people rationalizing that Trump just is a sick freak. That's it. He's a sick freak. And then that's it. That's their conspiracy. Their conspiracy is, look at all this evidence that says he's a sick freak. And unfortunately, being a sick freak is not illegal. Although all illegal acts are sick. Right? As far as unlawful illegal, as far as, look, we all know the context of the conversation we're having here, okay, folks? Do you really think that anything the government's ever going to do is going to incriminate itself? You'll be lucky if a few people that are dead already or already hated maybe get the shit thrown at them. Right? Because, you know, how do you rationalize that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein are the only people culpable in all of this? They're the only fucking people that are culpable, and the Prince of England. Prince Andrew, which is the absolute, like, okay, and we don't want to talk about, okay, Mossad, we don't want to talk about MI5, MI6, we don't want to talk about none of those things. We just want to talk about sick freaks in their personal time, and it's like Bohemian Grove. Oh, it's just it's a bunch of sick freaks at Bohemian Grove. That's it, they're just sick freaks, and it's not against the law to be a sick freak. And as long as everybody assumes you're a sick freak, they can charge you with any sick freak charge to fuck you over. And it'll work. But we are hopefully smarter now. We may not be so smart as to realize that we're about to get played again. Although I think everybody is just like, right now the Epstein files for literally everybody's like, oh boy, another whale of a tale. Like, we're just waiting. It's like, come on, don't lie to me. Let's see the bullshit. Let's see the bullshit. What kind of bullshit? What kind of lie you gonna feed? Just, you know, just like everybody gets it now, right? You can't fucking 9/11 Commission report this shit. You could barely 9/11 Commission report it. Then you can't Warren Commission this shit anymore. Whatever sticks is only going to stick if they can control the idea that everybody agrees with this. And they don't have media consensus that way anymore. They have to get the new covert mainstream media, the Joe Rogans of the world, to fucking consent to this shit. Because that's where the emotional impetus is being held. And the cold rationalization doesn't accomplish anything. The big smart guy who talks in C-SPAN voice doesn't fucking get you anywhere. I don't even think that Manly P. Hall's and Plato's Republican shit was even going for that level of cold. It probably absolutely had that much of the emotion in it. Right? I mean, government wants to be a thing that is trying to do the most significant thing in the expression of humanity at that time. Right? You know? That's why it's a government's, business to do things like honor, like, holidays. National holidays and major religious holidays because of political pull. Right? What would happen if by this time next year the President of the United States sent out a fucking Truth Social saying Happy Samhain? Right? Is Trump throwing a bone to Satanists? Right? You know, what are we rationalizing? It's all rationality. It's all like, this is all like, if you are ashamed to go down rabbit holes, if you are afraid to climb holy mountains, You'll play in the sideways. You'll hopscotch around the fucking grove, but you won't start the ascent or the descent. You won't do any shadow work, and you won't make any connection to the higher self. And you'll never change your perspective of reality from where you are, and you'll perpetually live in the world of rationalizing based on what you think you know, never realizing there's a way to truly authentically know, and it doesn't come from the agreement of your peers, which, if you don't know the right things well enough, will completely fucking take over your psyche and reshape your personality, and that's how you get radicalized. Getting radicalized online is no different than being radicalized in a dark alleyway. You have been, you know, everybody who has me time gets radicalized, right? Snowpiercer is a brilliant movie. Make sure nobody but the master of the train, the conductor of the orchestra of humanity, is the only one who's ever allowed solitude, to the point where he gets lonely. But also he needs to replace parts with small children. And that's an interesting way in which they talk about the feeding, the machine feeding on itself. The Ouroboros, the head of the snake, digesting the child as a function of its operation. So all this time you've been asking for the files to be released, but you haven't been asking for a true, intelligent, comprehensive, multifaceted, mature conversation about everything that it means, about everything that is already known to be connected to it. But because the royal family are seen as nothing more than celebrity figureheads, like a living relic of the monarchy, which isn't, but for it to hold power, it must act like it is. And just ask Canada if the fucking King of England is just a celebrity. Who the fuck lets just a celebrity set up a throne room in their parliament and give orders about their foreign fucking trade agreements? So no, the King, the House of Windsor, Buckingham Palace, these are still places of executive authority higher than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is like the Speaker of the fucking House. Technically the president of the, well, technically he's the president of the Senate, because I believe the Prime Minister has to be the House of Lords. The House of Lords, which is the nobilities, noble family lineages representation. Those are people that are going to be protected by various barons and dukes and knights and so on and so forth, right? So that's your House of Lords. And then you got your commons, the commoners, the subjects. I guess they're not peasants anymore because you're not in a feudal system, you know. But I believe they count more as a subject than a citizen, and they're certainly a subject to the monarchy. So what is the deal with Prince Andrew? Huh? You know, stripping him of these fucking titles and privileges. This isn't just fucking like, you know, taking a guy and like firing him from the family business. I mean, it is that. But on the monarchy level, when you understand the significance of what that means, it's a government position thing, right? I mean, I guess this is the closest he can legally get to being disowned, especially because of the fact that he's an heir to the throne. And you don't understand what that still means, since Saxe-Goldberg-Goth, I think that's the full name, changed their name in the world of anti-German sentiment they created against themselves, as well as seeing the low opinion of kingdoms in Europe and the world in general, because that was the major, like the 19th century was telling the world that the 20th century was not going to have monarchies by the end of it, effectively. Right? And I can't say I know the difference between a monarchy and a democratic republic. I just don't know the fucking difference. I mean, I do know the difference. I mean, look at fucking England and London now. But but seriously. Holy shit. Right? And I promise you that things can change in England and in commonwealths by the will of the House of Windsor, unless you want to fucking secede. And I don't believe you want to. I really don't believe you want to secede. That's the problem. Even though you easily could now. You easily could. Right? Because all you have to do is go through the whole civic debate process in not that long of a fucking period of time. And you get that to go hard until everybody says, well, you know what? Hey, man, there's a lot of people that say, like, and why are we? Like, we could do all this on our, like, we could make some deals and some whatever. And, like, it's a question of finding out who has the leverage. Once you lose empire, who has the leverage, right? Cuba learned the hard way that they don't have leverage, right? Cuba learned the hard way, that, like, you want to throw off the colony, that's fine. You don't have to suffer just because you threw off the colony. Like, Cuba could have done, Shea went to Australia. I mean, not Australia. Shea went to India. Shea went to fucking India. So you tell me. Right? The British colonialists, also a capitalist system. Monarchy, but capitalist. And India kept their capitalism. And that has helped India have, like, with or without, production, advancement, things like that, human souls are going to do what they're going to do, be the way they're going to be. And so, the capitalism is building the opportunity for some to grow a larger population, because if you find a success model that also is good for the human soul and is a flexible model that anybody could try and benefit from, you've got an opportunity there to raise more people along with yourself, and you give it time, because otherwise, as long as you don't fuck with how people get their food and their shelter and their basics, you are doing way more good than harm, because of how that works as a deal. So, bear with me here. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, so hang on a second, I'm early and it's great. That'll do. So, you really need to fucking, look at the people that are still holding the world at fucking face value, and you need to mock them for their willing ignorance, their willing stupidity, right? There's a big difference between anybody using their freedom of speech in a manner such as I am now on my level, which is not accumulating wealth or power from other people. That could change in the future. I may decide to do different things that I think I have my power, control, authority, autonomy over, I may think I have an idea for a monetizable channel, perhaps, things like that. But that's a particular arena, if you understand what I'm trying to say, right? But then you got guys that are bigger deals, right? Famous one amongst the defensible oh, that's what fucking happened. Oh, shit. Shit. Ah! Oh, that sucks. Where is it? Oh, must have fell onto the seat and it's probably empty. Shit. All right. I keep my weed in there, and in there fell out at the beginning of the trip. That fucking blows. Under the chair. I know it. Yep. Whatever flake I had is gone. Boo. Alright, I'm having a straight day today. Anyway, yeah, so where was I? Yeah, that's right. It was the yeah, so way back in 2016. All because Donald Trump decided to do kind of a stand-up comedian's mockery kind of thing where he goes like this, which everybody understands means you're discombobulated. But because being discombobulated looks like you have a nervous system problem, and the guy happens to have a permanent nervous system problem that was attacking him, right? It was perceived that he was being an anti-free speech tyrant, right? We had confused the idea that only the press has free speech, right? That if you become of elected office, you're not allowed to have an agreement on certain things, or an understanding, or a consideration, right? There's certain things that are just like, no, that's the wrong thing to say, and they'll tell you you said wrong, when it's a matter of your personal judgment and prerogative. So we are missing all of these things. We've lost on all of these little bits and pieces that do us, that have, done us good, right? We're we've trusted the wrong people with who brings voice to what's on our mind. And that's the problem, right? Is that it's hard to have a balance between being an individual and being in the collective, when you're not allowed to be in smaller and smaller collectives until you're just a collective of yourself. You've gathered yourself together, in which there are 9 of you. All right, I'm gonna get myself ready. I'll catch you guys later.